Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on Mind the Gap from the DOT, the leading supplier of talent to UK accountancy and small businesses. I'm delighted to be joined today by Abbie Lisney from PJCO down on the sunny south coast in Shoreham, and my colleague Tyler Steadman from the DOT, based in hopefully a sunny Milton Keynes. So if I could ask you both to briefly introduce yourselves. Abbie, would you be so kind as to go first, please?
Thanks, Dermot. Hi, everyone. So my name's Abbie. I am a partner at PJCO accountancy firm based in Lancing in West Sussex. I've been with PJCO for 8 years now. And part of my role as a partner is to look after the operations side of business. So one aspect for that is looking after our accounts production process, and that's how Dermot and I have connected.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Tyler.
So hi everyone, my name's Tyler. I have worked for the DOTS for now just under 5 months. I work as the account manager for the UK and Ireland. Previously to this, I've been within the tech space for accounting and bookkeeping for roughly around a decade now. And some of my sort of primary roles that I have is basically meeting with all of our clients, the length and breadth of the country and over in Ireland, and basically looking at delivering the best level of service that we possibly can, as well as new introductory leads and invitations that we do have through our referral system.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And for those of you who've not spoken with me before, then Dermot, I'm the sales director at the DOT. And I have been involved in the accountancy tech space for, over 25 years now. So young that when I had a full head of hair and a narrow waistline, those two things being reduced. Today, then I was number 44 on the payroll at Iris, and I've had a number of roles since those 10 happy years at Iris back in the day. We are here to speak about the challenge that UK accountancy practices face with recruiting and retaining talent. So in terms of recruiting talent, then that's not a surprise to anybody who has a senior role within an accountancy practice. It's been around for a couple of years now. There are a number of ways that people can approach that challenge, and that's what we're looking to explore today. We're looking to explore two very different approaches. Actually, when I worked with Thomson Reuters in the States, they had an office based outside Detroit in a little town called Ann Arbor, and they couldn't get salespeople. They had no end of people applying. When I say people, graduates from the two huge universities in Detroit applying to join in marketing roles, but they could not get anybody to join sales. So they had to go into the universities, speak to the university tutors, come up with a program that actually made sales seem interesting. And when they changed the story, hey ho, guess what? There all of a sudden was a steady stream of people who realised that sales wasn't as bad as the image that had been painted. And so in many ways, that's a very similar story to PJCO in that, like everybody else, a few years ago now, PJCO were struggling to recruit people. So they sat down and came up with a plan, which was not to rely on other people, but to devise their own program. And Abbie, you must have been one of the first people to go through that program. So do you want to just give us a bit of background to the training program that Peter and the team came up with, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started 8 years ago, I was fresh out of uni, looking for a graduate role, and PJCO landed on my doorstep. So I started my training program, which was a 3-year training program to train to become a ACCA qualified chartered accountant. So when I first started, there was probably about 10 of us in the office. We're now looking at closer to 28 to 30 people in our team. And effectively our focus with our recruitment has been to look at the young talent pool. So like I say, when I first started, we were looking for graduates that have just finished university, but now we've expanded that pool to also look at school leavers and leavers that are finishing their A levels. Particularly, we've noticed in the last couple of years, apprenticeship route has been much more popular because the university fees are so expensive. So those school leavers and A level leavers are looking for a different route into the industry than just going through the traditional university route.
Well, that's very interesting. So, in terms of when you've kind of looked at school leavers, what's been their impression of, in that first meeting, what they thought an accountant was and did, and compared to, what they actually found was the reality with yourselves?
Yeah, so that's always a really interesting conversation. I've sat in many first introductions now, and most school leavers will say, I really love maths, I want to be an accountant, I think it's going to be a good career. And that's as much as their knowledge extends to.
Yeah,
So once they leave our sort of initial conversation, they're quite enlightened to the fact about what our team does and what's actually possible, which is much more than they originally thought when they walked in the door. Um, so I think it actually gives them particularly for us, they're coming into a training firm where our average age, I must admit, is relatively low for an accountancy firm
yeah,
because we are a training firm. So they're actually learning with other students who are at some level or stage of their uh, program, and it makes it much easier and a more enjoyable environment for them to progress through their exams and also their work experience to get to that end goal, which is to become chartered.
yeah. And just a quick question: do you encourage all of the team to spend their time in the office?
We do when you're training,
Yeah,
particularly because we find that you get the most out of it when you're here in the office, surrounded by not only other trainees but also our qualified members of staff, because you
yeah,
learn so much more from effectively being nosy, listening to other people's conversations with clients, and just having that ability to be able to ask questions of those people that are senior to you and have more experience. Um, if we encouraged uh, those students to work at home, then I think we would see a drastic difference between the quality of that individual once they completed their program. So yeah, we just find it works best for us that you're in the office and you absorb everything
yeah.
day to day.
Yeah, learning by osmosis. I think they refer to it as, don't they? And those water cooler moments that you simply can't get when you are at home. Interesting. Right, what I'm going to do is now just pass across to Tyler, and then I'll come back to Abbie in due course. So please don't leave us. So Tyler, would you like to give us a bit of a background as to what the DOT actually does as a business, please?
Yeah, so no problems at all. So we love an acronym. So DOT stands for Digital Outsourcing Technology. So we basically support a range of different business. But first of all, is sort of administration, HR, payroll through SMEs, all the way through to helping and supporting the length and breadth of the UK and Ireland and every accounting firm, whether it's bookkeeping, whether it's accounts, prep management, audit work, whatever's really needed as a facilitation, the DOT is able to provide that level of quality resource. The beauty of what we do is we are able to, as I say, provide and be very flexible for, especially in a market at the moment where I'm meeting with a lot of our clients, I'm meeting with a lot of interested parties where they're telling me, look, I cannot find the right staff members, or I've been looking for a particular accountant for 4 or 5 months, and obviously now that's affecting my business. That's my bottom line affected. With ourselves, we have a big pool of quality experience, and it's very impressive to see some of our staff members and the years of experience that they have at their level. And we're able to then help facilitate a transition of basically finding out a little bit more about how the firm works. Every firm has a difference. And how they operate, and then what we do is we kind of find out where those pain points are, the problems that they're having, and make sure that we can facilitate that with the right pool of resource.
Fantastic answer. Thank you very much. You did that all in one breath as well. I'm very impressed.
Not bad, eh?
Very good. Far better than me. Far better than me. So, in terms of, I think you may well have touched upon this, but how do you think the DOT actually helps practices out then? I mean, you gave us a bit of the what there, what we do, but what's the kind of how? How do we really help practices?
Yeah, so the way it works, we have as I said, we sort of have I would say it's a 3-month process. So it starts initially with having conversation, and I think especially in today's world of I would say subscription-based billing, it's very quickly able to go to snap your fingers, grab a solution, grab yourself a piece of software, and then not really understand how that works. What we try to do at Dot is take it back a step, as I say, and understand how the firm is progressing thus far, or the company is progressing thus far, and what their ambitions are for the year following. What we can then do is then try and facilitate a better service offering, whether it's a job by job basis at their point in the market, or alternatively, if they do need an additional staff member, what level does that staff member look like? We then go through sort of the first month or the second month of having a look at that, and then bedding in the right individuals. And very similarly to recruitment, it's kind of got sort of bits of both. So obviously we're looking to find the right staff member with that right qualifying level of skill set they're looking for. Some businesses want to find somebody that already has everything in hand and they're ready to go. Some firms want to basically start providing that level of training at a junior level. So it's all about making sure that they feel like the person that they're taking on board is going to be a part of their team moving forward for the continuation, right? We want to make sure that both client and staff member are very happy. And throughout that process, we basically go through a testing phase initially, just to make sure that the jobs that are being completed, the jobs that are being sent over, are of the top quality and standard they're looking for. They're happy with the individual, and let's say everything goes absolutely fine. We then continue, and then people like myself will then go out and meet those clients on a monthly basis, Teams chats, wherever we can. I preferably love a good coffee. So I would love to meet with these firms directly, and just make sure that their first year with us is as smooth as anything. And then as we move forward, you tend to find the year end, and when we pull into the next following year, the work's already been completed for that first year, and things then track along a lot smoother. So yeah, just a little bit to how we work.
Super, thank you very much indeed. Okay, let's come back to Abbie. What do you think some of the benefits of the program has been within the within the business? Obviously, you've been able now to get a team of graduates and school leavers. Do you think it's much easier for you now as a business because you've got this proven program and it's known in the local environment and local, schools, colleges, universities, etc.? Is it getting any easier for you?
I would say, yeah, I think it has been. I think our training program is quite well established now. And I think for us, we've sort of been able to extend our recruitment from graduates and actually include those younger students that are coming out of school,
Yeah.
particularly where I think there's a demand where they're actually looking at the apprenticeship route as an alternative route than going to university. And I think for us as well, where we're offering such progression and real responsibility from effectively day one for our trainees, they get a lot of exposure to client work and communicating with clients much quicker than perhaps an average training program might give them. So we're really hoping that we can actually push our trainees on and make sure they've got all the skills and resources they need, so that when they get to that point that they're qualified, they have everything they need to be able to be a fully successful client manager and ACCA qualified accountant.
Fantastic, thank you. Because it's actually that client contact which is one of the real distinguishing features of your training program, isn't it? And that was one of the points that led to you being the QuickBooks Firm of the Year a couple of years ago. Yeah,
exactly. I think even from my own experience, you get real life contact with clients early on. So you're learning to communicate with clients in a training environment where you're supported by your peers and those that are senior to you. But you get that real exposure to be able to learn how to speak with clients, particularly in our firm. There's a skill that our trainees need to learn to be able to earn the trust of our clients, who on average are quite a lot older than our team. So that's a skill where they've got to learn to win their trust and be able to communicate them in a way that client will come to them as their trusted advisor for all their queries.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And also with the program, are there any ways that you've been able to tweak the program so that if you have a certain individual that you really want to like and keep and develop in a certain way, that you've been able to tweak the program for that individual?
Yeah, so I think actually we've always been keen to promote individual skill sets and find a role that suits that skill set, because we feel that that individual will perform to the best of their abilities if they're in a role that best suits them.
Yep.
So our training program has evolved, and we've got one qualified member of staff, one of my colleagues who actually is our accounts production manager now. So
Okay.
her skill set was better suited to effectively running the production side of things, and an internal role where she looks after the team's needs and our compliance work with our year-end accounts. And that we found that that's been really successful because she's really enjoying the role that she's now in, and it shows because we see that in her output.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're quite keen to for our trainees to be forthcoming with where they want their career to go, so we can help them get there.
Yeah, fantastic. So some really individualized personal development plans then.
Yeah, I think so as well, particularly the way the industry's moving as well. I think that we've got to encourage those individuals and make sure that we can actually facilitate where they want their career to go, rather than perhaps saying these are the sort of traditional routes, you've got to fit into one of those routes. I think that it works best when, well, I think the trainees flourish when they've created their role and it works best for what their skill set is.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Right, I'm going to come across to Tyler again now. So, Tyler, quick question for you. A lot of people are comfortable with the fact of the terms outsourcing and offshoring, which of course are both services that the DOT delivers. But can you tell me, please, what's a pod?
Yep. So again, another amazing acronym that we have. So POD is Professional on Demand. It's basically a coined phrase that we've used quite a lot, and it kind of just helps, I feel like, kind of capture what it is that we're looking to provide. As I say, we have the best powerful software. We have some amazing individuals. So what we tend to classify them as is pod, and that just helps with conversations. Obviously, with an extensive team that we do have, over 200 plus, there are quite a few names to remember, as well as quite a few firms. So yeah, the term pod has been an endearing one that we've used within DOT.
Super. And is there any once people understand that term, are they more kind of disposed to actually use a pod, or do you kind of come in on outsourcing and then once you understand and get comfortable with the DOT and the services we deliver, do you kind of upgrade to pod?
I feel like at the moment, especially with outsourcing and offshoring, like just taking it back a step, and obviously it's very refreshing to see with Abbie and PJCO how they're helping develop and train. There's a very big question around sort of the level of how many available qualified accountants, bookkeepers are actually available within either a geographical location or that don't come with a premium, for example. So it's really refreshing to see like the take that Abbie and team have on developing those staff members, and very similarly to us, it's taking it back and understanding what actually outsourcing and offshoring is. It's not a scary thing to think about. There are quite a few big companies doing that within the market through banking sector, and obviously most call centers and things will go to other geographical locations in the world. If the quality of staff or the quality of pod that we have available is still available for the same time frame, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and it's as I say, they're able to communicate and connect in a great way, then it's great for us. I would say that once we've kind of got through and we've got the end users or the people, the clients that we're looking to connect with, they understand what that is in a nutshell, whether they've had previous experience and they've had their fingers burnt, and they can actually see what level of service that we're able to provide. Moving forward then into pod is kind of a normal term, and we normally love as well when our clients are turning around to us and using the term pod. I've got 2 or 3 pods with you at the moment. They're doing absolutely fine. I'll get another email saying, look, we need another pod as quick as you can, please. And then we kind of go through that with them. So it's nice to see that within this space we've created sort of a nice acronym that's used quite regularly, and we're starting to see it as well all over sort of LinkedIn. We're starting to see other people sort of coining that phrase. So it's been quite interesting to see sort of that elevation of that acronym.
Super. Thank you very much. And then Abbie, so first of all, if there's any questions from the audience, please feel free to pop them in chat and we'll answer those. If not, we'll start to round up. So this will be the final question of the day. So Abbie, how have you found using a kind of a hybrid combination of both using, outsourced talent, via people such as ourselves, obviously using the DOT, and then also your homegrown team?
I think for us, when we're looking at outsourcing, we've always been looking at a dedicated individual that can form part of our team. So we like to work with an individual and try to make them as part of our team as a trainee would be sitting in our office next to me. So we're really keen to encourage personal development and again find out what that individual's interests are to be able to encourage them to progress with their career, because we think that we get a better outcome in their accounts production work. And we're always looking, whether we're looking at talent in the UK for our training program, or we're looking at talent to fill our dedicated individual roles, we're always looking for effectively those shining stars. So the best of that pool of individuals. That's really what we want to have across both aspects of our staff members. And I think it's worked well for our team because as part of our training program, our trainees learn how to they learn their compliance work. They learn how to prepare year-end accounts, and then they get to a point where they know how to do those. They've got those technical skills. They know how to do that work, and they need to move on. So by having a dedicated individual that helps us with our accounts production work, we can also progress our trainees on to focusing more of their time with client communication and looking after clients and sort of tax planning and business advisory. So we found that a combination of both works really well for our team and servicing our clients.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. No questions so far from anyone in the audience. So what I'll do, I'll give a quick summary and see if any questions appear, and then we'll wrap up. So what we've discussed today is obviously there is a challenge of recruiting people into the accountancy profession. And I think the story that PJCO actually tell very convincingly is that you've got to own the challenge and then change the story. Because I think a lot of people, being the father of 2 boys who I encouraged to become accountants, both obviously ignored their dad, as kids do, because they would just come back to me and say, "Oh, accounts, it's boring, it's geeky, it's, blah, blah, blah," all the stereotypes, which I was, pretty disappointed to hear, but they still obviously exist. So what PJCO have done is actually gone out and create a fantastic training program, which has resulted in, the firm, first of all, being able to grow, literally doubled in size since you've started the program. You're obviously very open about the fact that when certain people complete their training program, they will go on. So you're actually, in a way, helping other firms out within the local business environment. You've won national awards, international awards, and created a really positive image for yourselves, which by definition means that when you go out to start the training program for the next year, people are going to be aware of you and aware that it's a really successful business to work for and a great place to start your career. Mirrored with that, you've obviously not ignoring the fact that certain areas are either best served by outside providers such as ourselves. So our relationship and partnership is thriving, and that just goes to show that you can't be closed to any potential solutions. You've got to, look at what's available within the space. So, Abbie, as always, it's great to chat with you. Look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks' time when we're down to see yourselves. And Tyler, again, always good to spend time with you. Thank you very much for your contribution for today. So that's it for the session. And thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next webinar. Thank you all.